Welcome, class, to textbook lecture 1.2, where we're going to define the various aspects of politics. Politics determines who we select as our governmental leaders and what policies these leaders pursue. Political scientists often cite Harold D. Lasswell's famous definition of politics, quote, "Who gets what, when, and how," end quote. It is one of the briefest and most useful definitions of politics ever penned. Admittedly, this broad definition covers a lot of ground, office politics, sorority politics, and so on, in which political scientists are not interested. They are interested primarily in politics related to governmental decision making. The media usually focuses on the who of politics. At a minimum, this includes voters, candidates, groups, and parties. What refers to the substance of politics and government. Benefits, such as medical care for the elderly, and burdens, such as new taxes. How, people participating in government is important too. They get what they want through voting, supporting, and compromising, lobbying, and so forth. In this sense, government and politics involves winners and losers. The ways in which people get involved in politics make up their political participation. Many people judge the health of the government by how widespread political participation is. America does quite poorly when judged by its voter turnout, with one of the lowest rates of voter participation in the world. Low voter turnout has an effect on who holds political power. Because so many people do not show up at the polls, voters are a distorted sample of the public as a whole. Groups such as the elderly benefit by having a high turnout rate, whereas others, such as young people, lack political clout because of their low likelihood of voting. Voting is only one form of political participation. For a few Americans, politics is a vocation rather than an avocation. They run for office, and some even earn their livelihood from holding political office. In addition, there are among many Americans who treat politics as critical to their interests. Many of these people are members of a single-issue groups so concerned with one issue that members cast their votes on the basis of that issue only, ignoring the politician's stand on anything else. Groups of activists dedicated either to outlawing abortion or to preserving abortion rights are good examples of single-issue groups. When the Supreme Court handed down its decision in the case of Webster versus Reproductive Health Services in 1989, it narrowed abortion rights by allowing states to decide whether to provide funds to women who want abortions but cannot afford them. People on the pro-choice and the pro-life sides, note the loaded labels each uses for itself, have turned to state politics to achieve their goals. Pro-lifers attempt to convince their legislators to restrict abortion funding by picketing abortion clinics and lobbying legislatures in many states. Pro-choicers have encouraged legislators to keep right to abortion as broad as possible. Neither group considers a middle course. For this reason, many politicians feel that such single-issue groups get in the way of effective policy making. Single-issue groups have little taste for compromise, an approach that most politicians view as essential to their job. The influence of single-issue groups on voters and elected officials complicates efforts to seek the middle ground on various issues. Individual citizens and organized groups get involved in politics because they understand that the public policy choices made by officials affect them in significant ways. Will all those who need student loans receive them? Will everyone have access to medical care? Will people be given care in their old age? Is the water safe to drink? These and other questions tie politics to policymaking. Please answer the following question in your learning blog.